We are on the final week 2 final worksheet. It is 5.NF4, and this is a lowercase b. So you can find that in your small workbook. Hopefully you've worked it out, and now you're just coming to see if you've done it correctly. All right, models, you know, we've seen these models so many times, but this one is asking us for the area, which the area is length times width. All right? Problem with this is it's not asking of the area of the whole thing. It's only asking the area of the shaded region. So it just means this right in here. Okay? So that is going to mean that it is 2/5 times 3/5. Okay? Which equals 6/25. So it is 6/25. And that would be square. Okay, because it is area, length times width. We've talked about that. All right, number 2, which expression can be used to find the area of a rectangle that is 4/5 unit by meaning that multiply by 3 tenths unit. So it would be 4/5 times 3 tenths. Okay, so which one of these is another way to write that exact same thing? Well, this one is an addition, so that one's not going to work. This one here has multiplication. That one is going to be our answer. And the only one that I would say you'd have to do, okay, you have to take our common denominator, and we can figure this one out. We have 4/5 plus 3 tenths, which we're going to end up keeping our 10, because that's what 5 can go into. This is times 2, so this times 2. We end up with 8 tenths plus 3 tenths, which equals 11 tenths. Then you would take 2 times 11 tenths, put your 1, and you'd have 22 tenths. This one up here equals 12/50ths, okay? This one's over a whole. That one's not over a whole, so that's not going to be. This one is our only expression that's the same. All right, this one here is talking about estimating, okay? So estimating. We're estimating the area of the rug. Do you expect your estimate to be under or over the exact answer? So I'm going to look at each one of these mixed numbers like they're on a number line, and I have 5 and 1/3. And if I were to put that on a number line, it would be in between 5 and 6, and it'd be closer to this end here. And when I'm comparing, I'm always comparing it to 0, my benchmarks, 1/2 and 1. Well, 5 and 1/3 would be closer to the 0, so therefore it's going to stay 5. So if it's 1/2 or greater, we're going to raise that score. But for right now, we're going to keep this one because it's so close to the 5. Now, if I take the 4 and 1/6 and I were to place it on a number line, it would be between a 4 and a 5, and it would be down here as well. If I compare it to my 0 and my 1/2 and my 1, it is closer to the 0, so I'm going to keep it at 4. So if I'm estimating, I would say that 5 times 4, because it's area, equals 20, okay? So my number has to be greater than 20, because there's more. It's not just a 5 and it's not just a 4. There's a fraction. So it had to be greater than 4. But if I went to these ends over here, I would have 6 times 5, which equals 30. So it'd be greater than 20, but less than 30. So my answer would need to be somewhere within the range of greater than 20, but less than 30. Finding the exact area. Okay, if I want to find my exact area, I have 5 and 1/3 times 4 and 1/6. I need to take these mixed numbers and make them add, which means I multiply, I add, and I keep my denominator. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16/3. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25/6. And I would have 16 times 25, which is 400/18. So that's my improper fraction. I have to take 18 into 400, which 18 into 40 goes 2 times. 2 times 18 is 36. I subtract that out. I end up with another 40 down here. 18 into 40, another 2 times, which becomes 36. I subtract. I have 4, so it would be 22 and 4/18. Okay, now I'm running out of room over there. But I'd want to simplify. I'm going to bring this up here. 22 and 4/18 is going to simplify down to 22 and 2/9. Now part C is asking, compare your answer to the estimate to see if your answer is reasonable. Our estimate was only dealing with whole numbers, not the fraction. Our whole number is a 22. Is 22 greater than 20 but less than 30? It is. So it does check out with our estimation. So the answer is yes, because 22 is greater than 20, okay, but 22 is less than 30. All right, number 3. Which rectangle has a greater area? So we have rectangle A, which we're going to write that out. We have A, which is 3/4 times 1/9. And then we have rectangle B, which is 2/3 times 1/6. Okay, so then we figure it out. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, which that equals 1/12. 3 goes into 36 12 times. This one is 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 6 is 18, which 2 goes into 18, so it would be 1/9. Now, what we have is we have a 1/12, which is A, and B is a 1/9. Okay. Now, you could do some comparison, but I want you to picture these fractions. Imagine that you have a brownies in front of you, okay? And you have 9 friends over, and you want 1 piece. What size will that piece be? Compared to if you have to split it into 12s and have 12 friends over, and you want 1 piece. So although 12 is bigger than 9, your piece with 1/9 is going to be a larger piece than 1/12. So the bigger rectangle is B because 1/9 is larger than 1/12. All right, page 2 of week 2 of worksheet 3. What area of a rectangle is 16 4/5 square units? So that's telling me that that is already the answer of area, because if you remember, area is length times width. There are 2 numbers involved, therefore the answer is a squared number. So it has given us our answer, okay? So if it says 1/9 unit by, remember by means to multiply. So this one would be 16, and 9 times 25 is 225, okay? That is not 16 by 45. This by is a multiplication. 2 times 8 is 16. 5 times 9 is 45. There we go, we have one. 8/5 units by, which is multiplying. 8 times 2 is 16. And again, 5 times 9 is 45. So that one is correct. By, 4 times 2 is 8. 15 times 3 is 45. 8, it has the right denominator but not the right numerator. This one by 4 times 4 is 16, and 9 times 5 is 45. So there we have 3 that equal into the square unit of 16/45. Find the area of the rectangle with the side lengths of 4/7 units and 2/9 units. So once again, area, which is length times width. So 4/7 times 2/9 would give us 8/63. This is how you would say that. Or 1/9. Okay? right there. 864 square units because it is the answer of the area. Okay. We're going to try to do this one. I know it's kind of cut off down here, but this is one of our models again. Use the model to help you. I'm guessing they're missing the word with the product of 5, 6, and 3/4. Write an equation to explain your answer. Okay, so product meaning answer to a multiplication problem. So that gave us already a product is the answer of multiplication. So we're taking 5, 6 times 3/4. Now they already have that drawn out. Remember, we would start with our first model and we would do it. I'm going to do it up here, the way that this is looking. And I'd make my 5, 6. So I would divide out by my 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would shade in 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That represents this one. Now to represent this one, I have to divide it out by 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me see if I can use this red one here. I'm going to shade in 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. So you can see right here, my double shaded area is this right in here. Just trying to make it darker for you to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 becomes my numerator. 15 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times 4, which is 24. 15 out of a total 24. If I go over here, 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 4 is 24. Remember, your models are never a simplified version. Although this could be simplified, but your model never shows it in a simplified version. All right, number 8, find the area of the rectangle in square units. So we would have 6/5 times 2/5. Sorry, my eyes couldn't see that one. Times 2/5, which would equal 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. And number 9 says, find the product. Once again, product is an answer to a multiplication problem. So find the product of 3/8 and 3/5 and draw a model and write an equation to explain your answer. So I'm going to do that one up here. I have 3/8 multiplied by 3/5. Okay. This time I'll go ahead and use the 2 different colors. I'm going to draw my model out first as a square. Okay. And for the fun of it, I'm going to go into rows instead of columns first. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me draw it big enough. Hold on. 8. Okay, so I divided it out by 8. I'm shading in 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's my first one. My second one, I have to divide it out by 5s. So this one will be my columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm shading in 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. So my overlapping area is right here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My numerator becomes 9 out of, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 times 8, which is 40. Or you can count all of those squares to get that exact same answer.